I don't know. I like talking about stuff that we're not supposed to talk about.
Well, yeah, there shouldn't be boundaries to conversation.
Yeah, I don't really.
There should not be boundaries.
Well, we're not hateful or anything. Like, typically I'm going for comedy. You know what I mean? And comedy, you got to edge that, like, barrier sometimes, you know what I mean? And people are like, oh, where it's almost like wrong, but then again, it's kind of funny too.
You gotta be subversive.
Right.
It helps people laugh and think.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go superior route. Even though it's not too much like, if it was my football team, and I'm like, my team is better than yours, everyone's like, cool. But if it's my race, and I'm like, my team is better than yours, then it's like some hateful shit. I don't know. Why don't we just race? Like, actually race. Foot race. Foot race. See who's better. Right. See, that's what the Olympics. We just solve all of our problems at the Olympics, dude. But then there'd be a lot more steroids.
Be a lot more steroids. Be a lot more gambling.
Yeah.
Football's not that simple, though.
Life's not
that simple.
No way. Yeah. So you guys have any recordings or anything?
Yeah, we just recorded 10 songs, and we're in the process of getting that out.
All right.
But I think it's pretty much done being mastered, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I was looking for stuff when Patrick said you guys were coming. I was like, all right, let's go look, find them. Which I'd already kind of seen a couple of your videos because you guys have done some shows around here recently.
Yeah. We played at the Brave Bowl. Was it last weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah. I never played there before. So
yeah, that was fun.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was. People had a good time there.
Right on. And that's in Modesto?
Yeah.
Is that Modesto?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right on.
it's Modesto.
Cool. And so it's all done. You're gonna.
Oh yeah, we just need the album cover, and I think we're pretty much done. We're just gonna send that in, and so we can get some copies,
Like CDs,
get them out. We want to have an album release party.
USB bracelets. Have you thought about that?
No. I don't know. Do a lot of people
CDs,
do that?
Man, sell USB bracelets.
Oh,
And then you could just download videos and all kinds of shit.
That's true.
Dude.
I didn't even think about that.
Promo. Yeah. That could even be like something you could just give away.
Yeah.
But although they're kind of expensive.
We wanted to make T-shirts too. We're working on that.
We haven't thought about
Merced
selling
screen
it
printing.
Oh really?
Yeah, that he's
right
part
on.
owner.
Cool.
we got the hookup.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did our logo for us over there.
Oh cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a copy of the album with us? No, or with
I might have one in the car. Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you get on the internet?
No, I need you.
What?
I need your Wi-Fi.
It's on. Look for
I
it.
need the password, dude.
You don't remember the password?
No.
It's a famous game show host. All lowercase. God damn it. Why'd you have to say it out loud? Now the whole world knows. Now every time the podcast comes on, they're going to park out in front of my house and they're going to be like, dude, fucking using the Wi-Fi.
Price is wrong, bitch.
Like, what are the likelihood that the 12 people that watch the show are actually going to fucking video? I know, right? Well, nobody knows my address. Well, everybody knows my address. I don't know. Is that better? That's funny. Did you find it? I doubt they even heard it. Like, those mics shouldn't be that loud. You have to, like, really get in there. Although I've said it on the podcast a bunch of times and still, like, haven't changed my password. Yeah. Because I really only turned it on for the MMA fights so I could stream really good. Because I got Xfinity. It usually works all right. So
I don't have Xfinity anymore.
No.
I haven't had Comcast or Xfinity in a long time.
What's
So
the
like
thing
what
of
you
beauty?
brought up, was that like something that like was brought up in conversation and like in a
Yeah,
previous
with
show?
another
yeah,
band?
we started to do a podcast and like, just dude, I just throw out there whatever's on my mind. You know what I mean? That's like, yeah. I mean, when there's a lull, like just a minute ago, I'll ask you about your band. You know what I mean? Just throw it out there and then see where that goes. But I don't really like to interview because like any old dickhead can do that. So I'd rather sit around and like, hopefully he gets on the internet. We could watch some trippy videos or whatever.
Yeah, it's,
You know what
I
I
feel you. It's cooler to be more informal because I find like when you interview like or like list the questions, you're kind of just hearing people think out loud, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, see, and that's like what I get out of it because I really enjoy talking to people, and especially like in this format, you can kind of go in those areas and talk about things that you normally wouldn't talk about. You know what I mean? And so that's what I really like that. So that's what I get out of it, and hopefully in return, I give you guys a cool video with good sound, and you guys can be like, "Hey, check out my band."
Right on.
You know what I mean?
That's cool. Yeah.
And then in turn, when people are checking out your band, they're also checking out this show.
Yeah.
And so each person that sort of, like, the better we get, the more it gets shared, the more it becomes a relevant source, the eternal venue. Because once you play here, you're just playing forever because it's on the internet. People could just go watch it. Plus, you know, it like gives us everyone access to what's going on in the valley. So.
Yeah.
We're doing all right. I think we're 29.
No, it's definitely good. We definitely wanted more videos.
Yeah.
Or better quality videos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you guys got a couple, but they're not
but
the
they're
greatest.
not. They are not good. No.
Dark and weird angles. And so we got you not dark, but still weird angles. We got some weird angles.
Some Dutch angles.
Yeah.
I was watching the screen while you guys are playing, and it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah. Right. That's coming from Patrick, though. Yeah, this thing, you can make that. Oh, not too much. That's probably not made a horrible noise. But yeah, it moves a little bit. You can like get it up in your face and get comfortable. Right. So what do we got going here? Musician. What? Musician feuds. Nice. Oh yeah, Eminem and Elton John.
This got out of
That was never going to go to blows.
The Migos and Joe Budden.
Oh, Jack White. That was just like a, I don't know, was that a feud or just a bad relationship? His wife? She was the original drummer of White Stripes, right?
Yeah.
Right? And she was like already his ex-wife by the time they made it.
And there were still the original.
That had to be horrible, dude. Oh my God. And I like my ex-wife, but I wouldn't want to go be on the road with her. Eddie Van Halen. Who was he feuding? Rush?
With everybody in Van Halen.
Oh, Diamond. What? Diamond Dave. I was thinking Dimebag Daryl. I was like, I think Daryl would take him, dude. What? Anyway. Dead air. So what's next for you guys? What show's next?
We got a show at the Star Club next Friday. We're opening. We're one or two openers. We're opening up with Tractor Boy at the Star Club at 9:30. 9:30. Yeah, Friday night. That's
That'll be
nice.
fun.
It's just
Oh, we don't need to hand it to those guys. No, they got their own weed, don't they? Like, yeah. It's funny, but I'm being serious. Like, yeah.
we don't need to share it with everybody.
Yeah, no, they
Jesus
got their own
Christ.
thing on. Yeah. So, but now it's like never gonna come back. So, like,
There's
Yeah.
another show like in a month almost from now.
where?
I'm gonna get them to open up for Not an Airplane at 360.
Oh, right on. Right, we got to get those guys in here and talk to them. Because they got cameras and shit. That could be cool. That could be a cool collab. Yeah. And then I could get some guy who could actually do sound in here. Yeah, but, yeah, I don't know. We started this just because we wanted to.
I don't know.
Yeah.
How long you been doing it? Yeah. Or just at this location?
We've had this place about 8 months or so. And, but I don't know. I think we've only been doing shows here like 3 or 4 months. Something like that.
Oh.
And before we were doing it in my living room. It was super crowded. You think it's crowded in here. Like, it gets crowded in my house, dude.
You can't even move. You're just like Plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I opened it up pretty good, but
Oh,
it was
that's
just
good.
on the other side.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
the band had plenty of room, but
Oh,
I had
good.
to had to take everything. But it didn't look as cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I did this podcast like years ago, and then I have a co-host, but he's in San Francisco going to school, and he's got a band up there, and
Oh, wow.
it's so hard to get a hold of him. Yeah, and then it's like springtime, so he's in like 3 bands.
Oh,
so,
dang.
yeah.
He's busy.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see Dante until the end of summer. So, but it's cool, and we're trying to get a bunch of stuff done before it starts getting super hot. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be miserable in here.
Triple digits.
We haven't been doing much lately, aside from just finishing up that album. But
Right.
I mean, we're all coming to a point where we're all working. So
Yeah.
pretty soon. So it's been hard to like schedule practices. But nonetheless, though, shows have been kind of popping up this
Right.
month. I mean, we know it's not just that Star Club thing, right? It's what it.
Oh, yeah, the one that he hooked us up with at Lens
That,
360. And then
Right.
we have one in Lodi, Idle Beer Works, I think it's called.
Idle Beer Works.
Or
All
I
right.
could have it backwards. Beer Works Idle. I'm not sure. I have to
Oh.
make sure. But that's
Right.
on June 30th.
So where do you guys post all your shows? Facebook?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
I don't even have a Facebook or an Instagram. I'm like so
I have one, but
stereotypical. I'm so. But I'm like so
Oh,
I'm so
yeah.
absent from
Yeah,
our
get up
media
and down,
presence that I'm like,
Your
yeah,
dad
you
is
can pull it back if
insulted.
you
Bass
want.
player.
You can pull it should reach.
That's awesome.
What's that?
Oh, I was just saying his dad isn't being sold to anyone.
Oh yeah. Well,
oh, I'm sure it's being sold to some people.
My
Man,
dad
I
is-
got- I
my
got-
dad
I
is
got an
worthless.
iPad. Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
like calling me, asking me, just take your dad off, dude. We don't want it.
Oh, they
It's
got
totally
everybody.
worthless.
I don't have. It's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah.
I don't have too many pictures of myself on the internet that I don't need people seeing.
Yeah, I don't have nothing like that. I mean, everything that's on the internet you can have. Even this podcast. Uh-oh. I'm going to cut off my mic. Am I still working? Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've done twice. I did that tonight, and I've never done that before. Turn the power off. So we'll have to find out what that looks like.
My mouth's moving and nothing's coming out.
Actually, I thought, because I was watching the screen the whole time,
Right.
and then like instantly like they hit a note
Yeah.
change, and the freaking light boom went out. I thought it was like a
Oh,
light
yeah, I've
effect.
seen that.
I was like,
Right.
oh, what's Chris doing? That's badass. But then I was like, oh,
Right.
he stepped on the power bar.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, because when you're sitting at the keyboard, I was like, oh, I got him at a weird angle, you know. And so I was trying to find that angle that's like makes you look good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it had to take out the power to do it. So where'd you guys record at?
Was it Sound
Sound
Chamber?
Sound Chamber?
Studios.
Yeah.
How was that? How those guys?
Yeah,
That was
That was
fun.
cool.
That was fun.
Professional.
Frank is cool.
Yeah.
really nice. His
Frank,
wife
right?
is
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Frank's
Frank.
really cool.
Frank
Frank
and
who?
Pam.
I'm not sure.
Oh, just some friend guy.
Yeah, some Frank guy. I
Oh.
don't recall his last name. But
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I do recordings with him in Chapter 6
Oh, all right.
a long time ago.
Right. Yeah, that was a long time ago. So he's been around for a while then. Was he
Yeah.
still Sound Chamber?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been recorded.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember.
I know that maybe the last time we recorded music.
Oh, yeah, we did a couple rap songs.
Us three. We did like 3 rap songs together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I had never rapped before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, let's make some dumb rap songs. And, like, I want to rap for the first time in front of a room full
Oh,
of people.
please tell me you have that recorded.
Yeah.
SoundCloud.
Is it on
SoundCloud.
YouTube?
SoundCloud.
Nice.
Look at Mark Blackheart SoundCloud. They're
I'm gonna look it
fucking
up.
so stupid, dude. It's so stupid.
It's freaking hilarious.
Is there video?
No.
Oh.
No. No. Yeah, but yeah, just to feel uncomfortable because I like that feeling. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck up. Everyone's gonna laugh at me, and like getting used to that is not such a bad thing.
No, it's
You
a
know what I
good
mean?
thing.
And
Being
like,
vulnerable. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
worrying about that, it's like, because you do worry about that as I do sometimes as a musician, like just having people judging me, you know, and so purposely doing something that I'm bad at. So go ahead, judge
Trying
me.
to freeze you from that. Freeze you from that fear.
Yeah, it was just a little, I don't know. It was just something I wanted to do because I wasn't doing anything at the time either, and
Yeah.
they were hanging out, and so we're just like, let's fucking write a rap song.
That's cool.
What was it about? What was the topic?
Fucking, I don't even know.
One was about sticking together.
Oh yeah, but like
was
the
a
verses
positive
had nothing
message.
to do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like,
Gotta stick together.
yeah,
So I'm originally from Pacifica in the Bay Area, and back like in high school, me and like 7 of my closer friends, we produced a like horrorcore themed hip hop album,
yeah.
and we each had it's such awful shit.
Yeah.
I mean it's like.
Sometimes the outcome's not, you know what I mean? And like,
No.
yeah.
It's we're really proud of it. Like production wise,
Right.
it's like really well put together. Just the content is all
Yeah.
just fucked up and violent and just.
Hey, horrorcore,
Yeah,
dude.
horrorcore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
horrorcore.
with the concept.
We like
dude.
horrorcore, and you know what? Because you know what? I always liked horrorcore. Actually, when I was, I liked pretty much all forms of hip hop, but I liked horrorcore, and I didn't understand how so many people are offended by it, because like we have horror movies.
Right.
And I looked at it like that. It's just like you're watching something that's purposefully like fucked up. And, you know,
Right,
it's
right.
like-
Yeah, so why not write music like that? So what was it like?
It was Halloween themed. I think the name
Like
of
werewolves and Dracula, or like
Yeah, yeah.
Saw and
the
fucking
werewolves, Dracula, Saw, like just murder themes and just murder and marijuana themes. It's just
murder, marijuana.
it's just high school kids.
That just doesn't go
Yeah.
together. You don't get high on marijuanas, and I
That's
mean,
why
how many
they were fucked up.
marijuanas does
That's
it
why
take
they-
to murder somebody?
That's why not that much. Not that
I was on 5 marijuanas and I murdered a motherfucker.
marijuanas.
I slept to death.
I would like one push, please.
Yeah, give me some of those reefers.
No, it's about like it's like it's like you're rolling down to the rapping about rolling down to the 7-Eleven, and you grab a 40 and you look over the counter, and it's just a dead body over the counter,
Oh.
and there's an eyeball in the 40, and you don't even care that the eyeball's floating, and you just drink it down anyway.
Right.
Hang with your homies.
So you're just
On the
witnessing
avenue.
violence. Are you creating violence too?
Sometimes.
You just stabbing motherfuckers because a motherfucker needs stabbing?
Where the neighborhoods where we're from, except minus the eyeball.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, you know.
Oh yeah, my roommate found somebody robbed the liquor store down the street and killed 2 guys, and he opened the door and was like, "Oh, dead body! Oh, dead body! I'm out of here." Yeah, I was fucked up. 2 fucking Middle Eastern dudes.
Oh, the K Street one right there.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Was it K Street? No, it
Oh,
was Yosemite. And
Oh, the Merced liquor. Or,
Oh.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, think about that. I mean, it's like the worst.
Mhm.
They can go any which way.
Mhm.
Kill motherfuckers on the freeway, off to Yosemite, through the mountains. Who knows?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awful.
And just with all these uptake in shootings and threats of shootings around here, man, it's
Wasn't there like 22 school shootings this year?
Yeah.
so
That's
far,
crazy.
something like that. And that incident in Golden Valley not too long ago.
Dude, and
Oh
then
yeah.
I don't even know
That
if
wasn't that wasn't well, that wasn't a shooting. That was just like
Yeah.
a kid
It's so
screwing around on
scary.
the laptop. But
Parents-
nonetheless,
No, well, it was like some kid in Chowchilla got busted, and then everybody started twisting it to where it was a Merced school. Yeah.
No, there was that, but there was they had like the whole neighborhood like locked off from like Childs and like Coffee Street
Right.
all the way to like the freeway, all the way. Like,
Oh,
it
of
was
course.
Crazy.
Mm.
Like every police unit in the county was there at Golden Valley.
They got to take that shit seriously,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
You know. But like, yeah, I don't know. What?
Yeah, my friend has a kid who goes to that school, and the SWAT came in for everybody to get down, and yeah.
My son goes to
Cousin.
North Campus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a sophomore. I think a sophomore.
That's cool.
And so yeah, I had to talk to him about the like walkout and the protests and everything, and I'm just like, well, first of all, what does your bedroom look like right now? And he goes, that's pretty messy. And I go, yeah, before you try to talk to me about policy and politics and shit like that, why don't you fucking clean up your bedroom first, right? Once you get your own fucking life in order, then you can come at me with some adult ass shit. You know what I mean? I was like, you 16-year-olds don't need to be worrying about adult shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's kind of scary because, you know, it's school shootings and shit, but what can you guys do about it? Not walking out, not protesting guns. How about trying?
It was pretty effective.
How about protesting bullying?
if you
And
think about
fucking
it.
look over to the kids
I
sitting
mean, there
next
was
to you.
There was a
you know?
report that came out this year that actually
Yeah.
more children were killed in school shootings than military service personnel. So I think that like ultimately like Americans have to be realistic about what's going on.
Right.
And if you know a youth movement that is not something that isn't historical in the United States because that's happened before, is effective in not only like galvanizing people into a political conversation, but also like effectively calling out politicians that are in, you know,
Get up on there. Get up in there.
basically, you know, the NRA is pretty much in the pockets of these politicians. So it's just like if they spark that national conversation, then why not let them? Why not allow these youth to have a voice? You know, so like I think
Well,
that
yeah, they just need to be protesting the right things, and it's like it's not the gun that's causing the situation that's making this kid upset. It's the bullying and being an asshole to each other, and that should be the real message: is that we need to start being.
I also think
Yeah.
that like
But yeah,
Americans have a hard time talking about
nonetheless,
that.
I don't think it's a reason to totally sidestep the gun issue. It's like
Yeah,
both
yeah,
things,
yeah. I mean-
both things should be worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm-
there was
Because it's
a really
still-
good footage the other day of this guy. I mean, it was kind of fucking terrible because the guy made himself look like a fucking idiot. He came up to the in Santa Fe. He came up to the school with like a American flag and his Trump hat, and you know, and he walked up with a gun, talking about, you know, I want to make America great, and I'm trying here to support it. And there was a parent there pissed off, and the parent was like,
That was
"Yo, this
trashy,
this
dude.
is fucking stupid. Like,
Right.
what in the fuck is
Wrong
with you? I'm a
place.
I'm
Yeah.
a Second Amendment supporter, and this is just stupid." So,
Right.
like, you know, yeah, I think that, like, totally Americans have a hard time talking about it because it's such a contentious issue, you know? But, you know, I think that when you look at it in the real world fucking perspective, I mean, if you go to other countries, you know, this shit does not happen in other countries. So
Well, I
Americans,
mean,
like,
I don't- that's-
rationalize shit that's just like that shit does not happen like in other countries.
It does. It just they don't sensationalize it as much as American media does.
We're like,
You know?
we're like pretty much like right up there with some of like
Dude, I had this
pretty
friend.
much, pretty much like we're right up there in terms of violence. We're right up there with pretty much countries that are in the global south. So
Well-
like,
well,
for
let me tell-
people- for
hold-
Americans to say that there isn't a
I
problem
have a
is
friend in
ridiculous.
Nigeria, and I was chatting with him on Facebook, and he goes, I have to go. They're taking over the mall down the street. None of my other friends in America have ever said that shit to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And so
like,
we should talk about, you know, the American corporate influence in Nigeria. We should talk about
Right.
what happens with the Americans actually mess with the Nigerian government and what has actually happened in the last,
Yeah.
years, something like that. So, I mean, like, I think Americans have to also understand international policy because a lot of times Americans have a hard time talking about politics in their own society. So, like, when they talk about violence or they talk about violence on a global scale, it's like, nah, yo, we don't.
But
there's not a Chicago
every
in
government
every
can't
single
help but
country.
try to
That's bullshit.
influence the world in its own best interest.
Yeah,
That's like what governments and like empires and shit have been doing ever since there've been empires. You know what I mean? That's like, so yeah. I mean, all I can say is that I think that our government and our country was founded on some of the best ideals that we could possibly think of, and equality and separation of church and state, and you know, the rights that we have as individuals, right? And so from that, what we built, or what they built it from, is this is what you get. You know what I mean?
Well,
like when everyone's
it's been
equal,
modified, though.
you know?
It's been modified. That's essentially the way it's, you know, what it's designed to do. You know, it's designed to be modified.
Yeah.
It's
Getting modified to that.
If it's a democracy, a so-called democracy, then we should be able to modify it. We should be able to have a say-so in what legislation happens.
But is
Like,
it
you
a
know, what kind of
democracy when we
legislation-
have such things as superdelegates?
Nope.
No.
I hadn't even
Absolutely
really
not.
heard of a superdelegate until recently. Until
Or like
Hillary
20
Clinton.
or 30 lobbyists to every single congressman. Yeah. So I mean, no. I
Like-
mean, I feel you. You know, it's
Right.
It's you know, it's just, that's why I say it's so-called democracy. It's not. Really
It's
a
modern
democracy.
day. I think of it as modern day Rome. They're just not stabbing each other physically. You know what I mean? Oh, it's so brutal.
Yeah, I mean, you know, going to Rome, it was kind of freaky because when I studied abroad, I was there for a while, you know,
Yeah.
living in Rome for a little while. So I also learned a lot about fascism when I was there. So, like, there's a lot about the history of fascism that I think a lot of people just don't really understand on this part of the world because they didn't have to deal with it. They didn't
Right.
see rise and fall. So, yeah, it's pretty freaky. But
Why do they have a more positive or like a really negative opinion of fascism?
Well, like, I mean, it depends on the country. I mean, like, Italy's a really political country. You know, they have all kinds of different political parties. They're very, very outspoken politically. I think that's a misconception like that Americans have. You know, I remember I was in this like really touristy kind of uppity place called Campo de Fiori. And there was this American lady. She was from New York, and she was kind of just jabbering on. And we started talking to her, and my girlfriend and I. This is the last time I went because I already went a couple times. And she said, you know, Italians aren't political. You know, they're not political. I'm like, you fucking idiot. I'm like, there's fascist graffiti right down the street. There's a political poster right there. There's a protest going on down the street. Most of these trams that you're on and all of the buses, like, they'll shut down tomorrow if they want to, if they want to tell the state, like, we want better wages kind of thing.
Right.
So I think that, like, Americans, like, in terms of the political culture is, like, completely different over there. I mean, like, over there, a fascist is a fascist. Here, it's like, you know, they're like all right, or like they're like some other.
I would venture to say, I mean,
you know, they just kind of sugarcoat themselves, and they're not,
Right.
you know, they kind of like sanitize their
Right.
fascist.
well, I think a
ideologies.
huge problem with American politics is that I was going to try to pin down a number, but I would just be making some shit up. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people are getting their politics from like late night comedians. You know, I think, you know, and so they're listening to Jon Stewart.
I think,
and
like,
fucking,
okay, like over here, like, say if you're talking about like the real far right, that are a lot of conservative people, especially Trump supporters. I mean, you think about where they get their news. They're getting their news from Breitbart. They're getting their news from Sean Hannity. They're getting their news from those kind of sources. They're not like
That's
maybe
weird.
illiterate, and you know, they're not like
So you
getting
think-
their news from like all kinds of sources. They're
So
getting it
being
from, like,
conservative and being a Trump supporter are like two separate things. Because I consider myself a conservative because I want less government control and stay out of my fucking business. You know what I mean? It's like, if we want to save the fucking baby whales, then let's go save the baby whales. But the government doesn't need to do that. There's certain limitations that the government needs to have on our life. And definitely you can't control what I say, even if it's hateful and you don't like it. You know what I mean? And I actually heard that on the radio. I was listening to Big Boy in the morning, and there's some girl that's, I forgot her name, but she was just like, you can't just go around saying whatever you want. And I'm like, yeah, you can. This is America. Like, you might not like what they're fucking saying, but we all have a right to say all that fucking dumbass shit, you know? And that's...
Yeah, we supposedly have a...
right. Well, now it's like this weird social justice warrior bullshit. It's like you say one thing someone doesn't like, then they're just going to try to, like, ban you out and shit.
I think, conservatives and liberals have a hard time, I think, having political conversations with each other, let alone understanding the political culture that they embrace. Right. So, like, for instance, like, I think a lot of conservatives have a hard time understanding, like, their own perspective and how, like, within the political spectrum, like, where they stand, like, how far they are to the right or how conservative they are, let alone, like, liberals, too. So, I mean, for instance, there's a lot of, like, Elizabeth Warren and stuff like that. I mean, they're not, like, they're not very reputable people. I mean, like, you know, and they're liberals. They're liberal Democrats. Yeah. So, I mean, they're not very reputable in my eyes. I mean,
okay.
I wouldn't consider myself a liberal or conservative, but I'm just saying that, like,
So would you consider yourself independent?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Libertarianism, that sounds
I'm not a libertarian, but...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like some of that stuff. But then I like some of the Republican stuff. I don't really like too much of the Democrat. The Democratic Party just seems like conniving as fuck.
I think both parties are conniving.
Yeah, but I mean, just like, okay, the Republican Party seems conniving.
States, so it doesn't surprise me to hear conservatives argue that it's, you know, yeah, I mean, let alone like when liberals do the same thing. I mean, liberals do the same thing.
I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
do the same thing.
And the same.
What Johnny brings up, what Johnny brings up about conservatives watching Fox. I mean, liberals got MSNBC, and they kind of like make the shit like sports teams almost.
Right.
But there's, I mean, the Democratic Party, it you know, frames itself as the progressive party, but there's so many. Like when we had a Democratic Congress. Well, I'm not a conservative. I'm just saying I'm not conservative. But when we had a Democratic Congress, even with Bernie Sanders and all of them in there, they all had plenty opportunity to pass legislation to fix immigration, to help mass incarceration, and did none of that. When they control Congress, they're like, the Republicans are being obstructionist. When they don't control Congress, like the Republicans are just going to do whatever they want. So the Democrats themselves have been like pretty impotent. I don't.
So what you don't like Trump, right?
I don't like Trump. No, definitely done.
So what don't you like about him? Like what like?
Policy wise or like personality wise?
Like what? Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, just like specifically like things that he's. Like the bad things. Like, do you think the country's worse off now?
Yes.
In like what ways though? Because we're all talking about race.
He's tarnished our reputation internationally. He's literally almost in a trade war.
But the North Korea thing doesn't give him any credit.
No. I mean, I to be honest, I mean North Korea and their negotiations with China was really more or less the reason why that happened. If you understand international affairs, you'll know that that's the reason why, and that Trump just kind of boistering himself as he always does, that he is this kind of savior and kind of this person that's gonna, you know, hash out these international conflicts like as if he understands them, is a joke. It's an absolute joke. I mean,
so you would have preferred Hillary Clinton?
No. But but I think that's
because dude. I honestly am not for the two-party system.
Right.
Yeah, Trump is a fucking disaster. I mean,
I'll just throw it out there. Like, I don't like Trump. I think he's kind of an idiot. You know what I mean? But I think he's trying to do what he thinks is right for the country.
It's crazy. I mean, I'm not saying it's.
I think
He's
Hillary
like
Clinton's
a
a
character,
fucking
though.
murderer.
He's like a character.
I'll just
He's
say.
Well,
oh no, yeah,
and
Hillary
we could go
Clinton would
into-
be.
we can
She
go into that.
she
But-
would have been just as much of a warmonger. She's like
Yeah, but I mean, and
it's-
also what happened in Charlottesville for me kind of solidified that this guy is a fucking problem. I mean, for him not speaking
And
out.
there-
That was
and
where
white
the dude
supremacists-
drove through. The dude drove
Yeah,
through
like
the fucking.
literally, like him not speaking out and actually taking a side and saying, you know what, that was fucked up. That kind of
His-
says a lot.
They were
That
both-
was a kind of a Pandora's
Yeah.
box for a bunch of white supremacists, which is pretty much what has happened.
His supporters in the population, like your comment, like when we start, or I guess I think before we started recording, your
Yeah.
comment about how you hated the term African American.
Well, I just don't like it.
Or,
Well, I
or
don't-
like
yeah.
you just don't like
Yeah,
it.
I don't.
And I mean that's a nice sentiment,
Right.
but I mean even though race is not biologically real, I mean it's very real social reality that we can't necessarily ignore.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically, one of the things I don't like about Trump is like what John brings up about all these white nationalist groups really identifying with them and feeling empowered to come like how you
Right.
say it's this social justice warrior thing. How we
Right.
have this renaissance of identity politics now. Everyone's
Right.
getting their little their me.
But what's-
I hate that criticism of the
that's
Me
what's
Too thing
interesting.
because fascists are doing the same thing. It's like, oh, we're the oppressed ones. Now we can.
But what's the problem with
and
the
that-
white supremacists, though? Because it goes back to the football teams.
You don't have a
Yeah,
problem with
they're-
white
they-
supremacists.
What's the problem with the white supremacists?
What is it? Yeah, what's the problem with them? That they think they're better than everyone else? What's wrong with that? As long as you're not hurting people and dragging.
Okay.
But are they though? The
And if
Charlottesville
we were-
people were just walking down the street.
So I mean, politically speaking, if we were having this conversation in Italy, then it would be like you rationalizing Mussolini.
No. I'm just
It would be
asking you
pretty much on the
questions.
same-
I'm just
it'd be
asking
pretty
you
much on the
questions.
same,
Like,
uh,
what is wrong with
ideal.
being proud to be white? What's wrong with being proud to be black? You know what I mean?
Because they're not the same thing.
Like, why not?
Because in terms
So
of
white
identity
people
politics,
aren't allowed to be proud of themselves.
No, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that.
No, but we're
about
talking
white
specifically
supremacy,
Right.
about hate.
Like
hate
Nazis,
groups.
Nazi
And they
shit.
incite
That's
violence.
That's
They-
what-
they-
that's what
they
that
have their-
was.
They have their
That's what
ranks.
that
They have
was.
their members. Part of being blooded
That was-
in a lot of those
Right.
organizations is in public demonstrations getting
So
into
since-
That was
since-
part of Hitler's ideology.
And I'm
That
trying to
was part
provoke
of
you
the
here.
same-
I'm
that
trying to
was part-
provoke you now. Now that we're
That
getting
was-
political,
no,
I'm
we're
just
getting deep.
I'm just
No, we're
poking
getting
shit.
deep. No,
I don't believe
no,
any of this
no,
shit.
go-
I'm not
yeah,
telling
don't
you
be
what I
frank.
believe.
No, yeah.
I'm not telling you what I
So you
believe.
don't
I'm
think
just
that-
telling
You
you.
don't think that Franco Mussolini or Hitler had implemented specific policies during
Right.
the fascist era, which is what he did.
Yeah, that
were
was.
based
Oh no,
on-
that was fucked
were
up.
based on white
Killing
nationalists,
Jewish
specifically
people
white
and gay
nationalists.
people and
So
all
we're
that
talking about
shit.
White Christian Europe, specifically, not like kind of.
Well, that's bullshit. That's
no,
bullshit. I'm talking about
that's
track
not-
and field. I'm going to
Yeah.
track and field. You know, if they keep it at the level of like I'm better than you, not like I want to kill everyone.
That's what they're doing. That's what their ideology is. Their ideology is that they want to basically exterminate.
Well,
Richard Spencer said that he wants an ethno state.
Well, that's
and that's explicitly an all-white, country kind of ethno state. That's what an ethno state is.
Right.
So let's be frank about it. Let's not like sugarcoat it. You know what I mean?
that would be weird. And I would
Yeah,
not,
I mean,
as a
so
white
let's-
person, I wouldn't go to
Yeah.
the all-white state.
Yeah,
I'd
but I
be
mean,
like,
let's-
this is fucking. I'm from California, bro.
Yeah,
I've been
I mean, it's
around
just-
fucking everyone. I mean, there's Sikhs and Hmongs and Laotians and Mexicans and black people. I mean, I've been in the melting pot of the Central Valley my entire life.
Yeah.
That's what I'm used to. That's my life. I don't see you any different than you, any different than fucking him, other than just your characteristics that I know of you personally. I'm not judging you on your character. I'm just judging you on what I know about you. You know what I mean? And not even really like
This
judgy. I
isn't my
don't know.
normal hat.
I don't know. Judge. I'm not really judging.
So yeah,
Why are you
white
judging what I
supremacists
mean?
do not think like that.
Yeah.
White supremacists want to like. Kinda
Well, yeah,
like,
they're
they
taking.
want
Yeah,
ethnic
I mean,
cleanse
I'm not
societies.
saying I'm not saying what these guys are
You know?
doing is right, but if they took it down to the level of my team is better than yours, right? And would anybody ever, just because they have a history of violence, like they can't ever? No, dude, you motherfuckers have been violent this whole time. You are no longer allowed to be proud of yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
No. You're done. You're cut off.
But they still are. So like, and they're still allowed to kind of like be violent, and they're
Well,
not
yeah.
really,
I mean, a lot of those dudes. I mean, come on. They're
I mean,
like,
you know,
like intelligent white dudes aren't going out and rallying and shit. You know what I mean? These are like juggalos and shit, dude.
well, you have Jeff Sessions,
they have presences on universities or in universities.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but are they talking about killing people and like, because that's, you know, the ethno state, that's fucking
pretty much.
That's weird. But I mean, don't people do that kind of naturally anyway? Like
Nah.
separate into the little groups?
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Nah.
You don't think so?
Nah, that's not historically. I have a background in anthropology, and that's not really historically has happened. That's
We're
ahistorical.
not separated
That's
into
never
we're not
happened
separated
ever.
into groups right now.
Even
Yeah.
what's interesting about white nationalist ideology is that it's based on this like kind of false idea about Western civilization that like, you know, places like white men above all people because of, you know, this idea about Western civilization.
Right.
And it's like a falsehood because like Europe is a relatively new social construction, like over the last like 400 or 500 years. So like, you know, you go back to ancient Rome, there was no borders, there were no nation states. It was just people going back and forth. You know, it wasn't like the way that people. It was really fluid. So I mean, if you went back,
you don't think Rome sort of created that sort of?
Absolutely not.
You know, because Persia was still going on, and they had borders and shit like that.
I mean, they didn't. I mean, they had like a lot of divisions between people as far as classes, and of course they had like, but it was diverse.
Right.
It was a diverse place. Rome has always been Italy's always been a diverse place. Before it was even Italy, it was a diverse place.
Yeah, I mean, Africa is a super diverse place. I mean, part of Africa is the Middle East.
Yeah.
just like
even the term the Middle East is something that is a social construction. I mean, if you look at it, the Middle East,
that's definitely white man.
That's yeah. You know?
Right. Yeah, that's that colonialism when we got to like the white people went around naming shit. But I mean, the Spanish had something to do with that, and the Portuguese.
Oh, the Spanish were crazy about that.
Portuguese,
shit.
The Dutch were in on that shit. You know what I mean?
Everybody.
They're fucking freaky.
Yeah, and all those borders in Africa, because I am a geographer. So you know what I mean? That's with the maps and shit like that.
Right
on. Cool. I was looking at you.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so that's just what my interest has been, and particularly I got into geography for the cultural geography, and specifically because of where we live and the layout of our geography here. You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of history in maps, Mercadian maps, and stuff like that.
Which is weird because like, it's not always an accurate
it's not
representation.
very accurate at all.
You know, that one's more. You know, but Africa's way bigger than that.
I like
it's way bigger than that.
I really like the image of you know, it's just the frame of Africa, and it shows how many different regions fit inside of Africa.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's so many countries, and those borders were not drawn by Africans. No. So there's a lot of like bullshit.
It's like our states. I mean, our states. You know.
Yeah, not so much. Not as bad as Africa. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There's families that were divided by that shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, though.
You know?
I mean, if you think about it, we have that history too. I mean, there was families divided during slavery, and you know, Native Americans that were, you know, Native people that were separated. I mean, a lot of our states, you know, the names, they go back to their Native American, their roots are Native Americans. So, you know, Nebraska. There's a lot of states that they're Wyoming, I think.
Right.
Yeah. You can't just look at one state either. It's the whole like the whole country. Like our whole socioeconomic system is based on genocide of Native Americans and the slavery of black people.
Is that what it's based on though? Is that what our country's based on? I thought it was like the equality of all.
Well, that was, I mean, like, you know, 1964 now.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to, you know, the state had to enforce that because it wasn't conducive to our history. It wasn't something that was a part of our history for so long. You know, our history was not that for so long. And then, you know, up until a certain point, you know, people came together and said, this has to stop, and you know, people have to be protected by the law.
Right.
So you know, I mean,
I heard somewhere because of the population increase, there's actually more people in slavery now than there was back then. Like,
well,
you mean there are more people there are more
incarcerated.
people incarcerated than there were
no,
slaves.
there's like
No,
when
there's
when you
actual-
factor in human trafficking
there's-
and all the
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, because there's in a world.
I'm not saying that. It's
there's
just
an
where I heard
underground-
somewhere,
There's
you know what I
definitely
mean?
underground.
Oh yeah, if you're
human
talking about
trafficking.
the express slave market, but
yeah,
like,
there's a lot more people alive now than there was in 1700.
Yeah.
Like a lot more people, dude. You know, like there's more people alive now than that lived before like 1920 or something like that. All the people that lived before 1920, there's more people alive now.
There's a lot more people alive now, but there
Yeah.
still was a lot of people. So I mean, we
Yeah.
can't really downplay the numbers either. And then,
Well, I'm not downplaying the number. I'm just saying like slavery and human trafficking is
yeah,
still
that's
a
still
fucking
huge thing,
huge
yeah.
issue,
but,
dude.
But I know it was
No.
was it?
and it's
I don't know
the
if it was
hugest
Michelle.
problem in some of the biggest like metropolitan hubs.
Mhm.
San
I don't know if it was
Francisco,
Michelle
Right.
Alexander
all kinds
or
of
who it was that put what it was a new Jim Crow that she
Yeah,
wrote
Michelle
about that. Yeah,
Alexander.
she was
Yeah.
the one that she wrote this book, The New Jim Crow, and she wrote about how there's pretty much more incarcerated adults now, African Americans who are incarcerated now as adults
Than there were in the late
s-
1800s.
slaves in
Yeah.
the height of slavery, like in 1865. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What are the percentages, you know?
Like in terms of prison population,
Like as far as like versus
it's
people
like
who
what,
are
like
free.
1 in 4,
One in
So
four?
1 in 4 or 1 in 5 or something. It might be 1 in 5 now.
Yeah,
It was
I
like 1
mean,
in
there's
3
no
or
doubt about
1
it.
in
The
4.
system is like the judicial system of America. I can't even think of a way to poke you on that one.
Yeah.
Oop.
I mean,
Uh-oh. Here, you hold that.
brown people is just
Yeah,
as high. It's
that's
like
just-
1 in 6 or 1
Yeah.
in 8 or something. Like that.
Black
It's
and
just
brown people.
totally fucked for them.
And white men, it's like 1 in 17 or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, Mark,
What?
you ever seen this?
What is it?
I remember it said in 1888.
Yep. You can
That's
find
pretty
mine.
cool.
You can find in the corner, right, where I live on, and there's a church.
That's cool.
And that church burnt down.
19th and Canal.
You can see there used to be housing for workers in that picture.
Oh yeah, dude. And then
There's
like,
a lot of like stuff in that picture that
During
isn't
World
talked
War II.
about.
Yosemite Lake.
yeah,
The tower at Yosemite Lake.
right. The Lady of the Lake.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
I think we might be safe there.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Ta-da.
All right, we're working on shit here. All right. So yeah, damn, we got all political. Yeah, I got weird political ideas. Like, I would not structure society like this at all. You know what I mean? And I mean, yeah, I'm much more of a socialist, dude. You know what I mean? But it's like you have to do your fair share of work to get your, you know, because it's like
Yeah.
how that's how society works. You set up a village, you know what I mean? And it's like
Smaller
you got to have
communities.
everybody
Yeah.
pitching in
Yeah.
to make the community thrive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you're not pitching in, like, man, if me and you are going out, we're fucking hunting every fucking day, and this motherfucker's sitting around here fucking smoking opium all fucking day. You know what I mean? Uh-oh.
But
There's there's a reason why.
yeah, there's people why. Where's the reason why
drugs
people are on drugs? Like,
Oh, I was oversimplifying.
Oh,
Like, now we're in a extremely complicated society with just
Oh, yeah.
billions of people, and yeah, it's ultra complicated now. I do not have the solution to any of the world's fucking problems, dude, at all.
I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
all I can do is record some bands in my fucking garage,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, I mean, people,
You know?
it's crazy because you know we're kind of like you think about there isn't a dispensary in this town. You know, there's not a dispensary in the town next door.
There's not. I
There's
think
no,
Bang Mango
There's mobile dispensaries, but there's
No,
not
he's
like
got
an
a-
actual,
He's not. I thought he had over on Yosemite. He had a
I don't know
shop
if
out
it's
there.
still open or
No.
what, but yeah.
He's always
they're-
posting on the
They're
Instagram, dude.
supposed to open up here, but
Yeah.
like it's like moving real
Yeah,
slow.
this came from Series.
Yeah, but you gotta go out of town. You know,
yeah,
you
it
literally
sucks,
gotta
too.
go out of town. You know, to get anything if you're, trying to go to a dispensary. But there's fucking pharmacies everywhere that you
Right.
can get OxyContin and all kinds of fucked up shit. You know, oxycodone or
Dude.
whatever, and it's just.
When I was watching the Olympics this year, I watched some of it on Russian TV, and like they had like 6 or 7 commercials on each break, which was very often, and they were all drug commercials, dude. Like hella trying to drug their people, dude. Every fucking problem you could think of.
Yeah,
It's just
Where's it,
we're
Mark?
selling them the drugs.
The dispensary.
Bang Mingo.
Oh, there's a new one.
Oh, Green on the Go, Empire,
Oh,
Power.
no, yeah, it's the mobile ones.
Neither one of those, yeah.
I even
Why
saw
does it feel like a weekday?
Something for a sheriff.
I don't know.
Does
I
it
got
feel
a
like
text
weekday?
about-
Is it just me? All day
I
it felt
did
like
too,
like
dude.
goddamn.
Text for that
Yeah,
sheriff.
dude.
It was like be cool about or be.
Oh, yeah.
Weed friendly
Yeah,
sheriff
right.
or something.
I was like, don't fucking tell me how to vote. I was like, what? I thought that was overstepping a little bit.
I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was hilarious. I mean, that's just the way that they put.
Hey, dude.
It's just having done that.
Right.
Kind
Hey,
of
when
work
I
with
got
those
that
organizations.
text,
That's just the
I
way they do
just
things.
smoked. I'm like, how'd they know?
Viper.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Fucking Viper on
probably
us. That Viper money.
Viper money.
That's that Viper money.
I was all like, fucking
You're
Google.
all paranoid.
Is that even it? Can we even vote for that dude?
No.
That's not our district, right?
No. What, the Viper money?
No. Whoever
They said
they,
he
whoever
was
they
gonna
were
vote for
asking
that.
us to vote for, that sheriff
I
dude.
think it was
I don't
Mercer
remember.
County, wasn't it?
Huh? Merced?
Yeah.
No, that's fucking Stanislaus. Series isn't Stanislaus, ain't it? It's past Turlock.
Oh, is that where that came from?
Yeah, it came from the fucking club. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
there's
give 'em
one
their
in
fucking-
series.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
go, you know.
Who-
I
there-
go to Modesto.
There's no one else that would
There's-
message me about pot shit like that, dude, other than the club.
That explains a lot.
But
Hey, whatever.
Yeah, I was like, man.
I buy my weed legally.
Hey,
Recreational.
John, John, do you go there?
Oh, that one in series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to the one in series, no.
That's all right.
I go to
Then
Modesto.
where would he get it?
I'm gonna win that
You
machine.
got it, I got it, he got it.
Oh, I don't know. That was weird.
That text? I got the
Yeah.
text, yeah.
Yeah.
I got the text, yeah.
But how
How you
who would
doing,
send that
Candice?
to you though?
how you doing,
I don't
Candice?
know, 'cause I
You good?
Good.
They just
Yeah.
fucking
Enjoying
zeroed in
Cool.
on all the stoners and were just like, vote for this dude.
I guess I have no clue.
Like,
That's
how'd you
what I'm
know?
saying, dude.
Right? How'd
they
you know? I thought it was just the club. That's what I assumed.
There's that, and there's
It's
also
Google.
the the
Google?
superintendent election.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a
All those
state
big
thing.
signs
yeah.
everywhere.
People of
Richard
California.
Lopez and Steve Titian.
Oh no, you know what? Sorry, it's not a state
Teaching.
thing. You know, I don't know
Teaching?
how they got
Teaching,
my
I think?
information.
They put teaching in quotation marks.
Vote
And
Jeff
I don't
Durst
I don't know how his
Durst-
last name is
Durst.
pronounced. My bad.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't know.
for county sheriff. Yeah, the people of California voted to make cannabis legal. Now our community needs a sheriff who respects the people's choice.
Well, which
Boy,
is true.
It's a
Jeff
picture of
Durst.
him with a joint.
Right.
Sheriff.
That's a bunch
Yeah.
of people who want to grow some weed.
I don't know. This is the text.
Yeah, he supports weed.
Hey, John, how do you spell it?
Jeff and Dirkse.
Dirksy. Dirksy.
I don't know if that's how you say his name, but Durst.
Jeff Dirksy.
Prepared to lead.
I bet you that's how you say
Oh,
it.
there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that.
Dude, he looks like fucking Woody Harrelson. Totally. I'm voting for him just for dude. That is
Weed
Woody
is for
Harrelson's
the
Is
brother.
that a marijuana field behind him?
I know.
He's being endorsed.
Wait, zoom
He's
in
all
on his,
no.
zoom in on his eyes, dude. Zoom in on his eyes.
That
His
actually
eyes
looks
red?
like
in
the
the back.
fucking train thing
He's
over by
prepared to lead.
over Bear Creek.
I want to read.
Endorse Jeff.
Oh yeah, Stanislaus County.
Dude, oh, in a brewery? Dude. Look at this guy. Yeah. Volume.
Weed and beer.
Yeah, he definitely.
Let's hear it. They can't flag us for listening to political.
The message is already paid for.
Who's got the remote control? It's on the table.
Floyd is close. Oh wait, never mind.
Long-term friends from the sheriff's department, and that is also family. And it's just
Dude, get a fucking lavalier mic, man. What the fuck?
sheriff's department is a great
No. Fuck that. It's too echoey and weird. Yeah, turn that shit down. Fuck that. He ain't got no production value. Fuck that guy. I don't even know what he's saying. All right, I'm good. He kind of looks high, though. I mean,
Loyalty, determination.
What was that?
I
On
don't
the
know,
bottom,
Stan
huh?
State is not my company, so.
Stannis
yeah, I
and
mean,
Stan?
I would
Oh.
probably, if I gave a shit, I'd probably talk to some sheriff dudes and be like, who do you want to be your boss? Like, what's up? What do you guys think? Who should I vote for? Are you guys dicks or what? I mean, sheriffs are usually pretty cool. I mean, from what I've always been able to talk my way out of everything. Cops are a little bit different, a little more hardcore. Yeah. I'm white, though, so I'm sure that plays a factor.
Sheriffs were. I had I lived out in Planada. It's a little town out by going out towards Yosemite.
Yeah, right.
And that place is pretty crazy sometimes. And the sheriffs, sometimes they would do sweeps and stuff, and it was a little too much,
Right.
A little too getting.
That's
a little
just
too
like
crazy with their they're trying to they're going out there. They just got a bunch of weapons, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna try this out.
Oh, dude. Normal? I'd seen normal guys up in the mountains when they used to be a thing, But what was it for Merced, Mariposa Task Force or some shit, But they were out there straight, like, commando shit with body armor and fucking all their neat weapons and a helicopter and shit.
That's all, well, nationally, that's a result of that redistribution program, 1033. That allowed all that surplus military gear to go to like local law enforcement
They
and sheriff's department and
Seriously. Well, I mean, if the government has tanks, man, we need to have tanks just in case. What?
Tanks at Costco.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's
Driving
why
through
they're
town.
trying to regulate drones. They're trying
Right.
to
Your
regulate,
turn.
they're trying to regulate certain things
didn't
that.
get it.
drones are already regular. You can only
take it
fly
away.
so high with them, and
they don't want those things.
I remember I was in Mississippi with my cousin, and when we were supposed to go to this reggae on the river thing. You could only get to it on his boat.
Yeah.
You could only get to it if you had a boat, but I mean, it got canceled, so we just wound up like flying up and down the river. And his friend had his drone with him, and he said, like, "Look, this is what I do when I get out of church." And like instead, because a lot of the like the richer white folk that go to my church, like you follow them home to see how nice their house is. And like he like flew his, like we took his boat to like this I don't know this offshoot in the river somewhere where like it's you can only get to it if like you're rich and you have a boat, and it's all these like river houses, and all the backyards have their own decks and shit.
Yeah.
And he used his drone to like spy on them. Like,
I bet
this is how I find all the good real estate.
Oh, yeah. See,
Funny.
people are tripping on that shit, dude. Because if you flew a drone right in here and were just like looking at me.
And Mark,
Huh.
that sheriff, can you read that up there?
Concealed carry. What about it? It's just like,
It's a policy on marijuana.
oh. Zoom in, homie.
Control plus.
Well, I'm
Oh,
also
plus. There you go.
Keyboard shortcut.
Work it.
He says, while I did not support this,
Possession is still a federal felony.
Support this. The people have spoken, and will continue to enforce the law. We will continue to collaborate with federal partners to any investigation.
Yeah.
There
So
you
basically,
have it.
he's just like, I'm gonna do what I can until I can't.
Sounds sketch.
Yeah.
It's like, go ahead. It's just like, be
He's like,
cool.
I'll just
Well,
let you do what you want until the feds come. Then I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Like once the feds come.
I mean, don't come knocking at my door.
Jeff Sessions.
You know,
is
if
gonna
you're
come
just
for
growing
ya.
some pot in your fucking backyard, the feds ain't gonna come knocking on your door. If you're trying to fucking grow 100 acres, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
20,000 pounds, they're gonna come knocking at your door. But I mean, they should want that money, you know. I voted no for legalization though. The tax is too high. I mean, the tax needs to be fair for regulation and control, but it was way too high. I'm like, $100 an ounce, dude. Like what? That's way too much for tax.
Yeah, it's just they're still trying to figure things out. You know, I don't know how they're gonna figure things out.
I've always supported just decriminalization. You don't need to make an industry out of it. You know what I mean? Like, just let us smoke some fucking weed. What the fuck, dude? You know, like people have been smoking weed for a long, long time.
I think that
Laws
there
are not.
needs to be some regulation in the industry, like how people can grow, and like there's no regulation at all. You don't even know what you're getting when you go to some dispensaries, you know. So
yeah, and I mean, if they're gonna have a store, it needs to be regulated. Absolutely. You know, there needs to be quality control.
If they're going to present it as medicine, it needs to be regulated. So the person using it knows what they're getting and what it's going to do to them.
Right. Yeah, there
Otherwise
could.
it's gonna be fucked up.
Yeah, and that's why concentrates are probably the better medicine, you know, because you could really focus on what you want the effect to be, you know. That's why CBD is totally legal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're selling CBD dabs at Smoking Jay's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
CBD dabs.
And all the other stuff too, like the vape, the oil, everything.
I don't like vape because you got to put stuff in it to make it that consistency, so
Yeah.
it's not pure. You know what I mean? So I'd rather
I
do
don't
a
like
dab.
dabs.
Yeah.
I don't really like dabs or the vape wax that much. I just prefer regular like leaf. Yeah.
Smoking weed. Yep, me too. But
It's mostly because like the dab thing. It looks. I don't know. It just looks so illicit and it harkens to hard drugs.
Like,
And
you're all looking
and it
around
does
like,
not,
dude,
it does
we
not
doing
feel,
drugs,
it
man?
It doesn't feel like weed to me. It feels like a lot more like being way too drunk rather. And like weed's never made me throw up before, but like I'm taking a dab and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's nasty. It just feels nasty to me, but I don't judge.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of wax that's not really created correctly.
Yeah, they just like stuff as I understand it, you can just like it can be as simple as just stuffing a PVC tube with some shake or whatever.
It's got to be glass because
the
alcohol would melt.
At least because I've heard of dudes using PVC and they just
Whoa.
like fart the
Won't
butane out the other end.
Won't alcohol melt PVC?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't use PVC.
That's why it's in people who use PVCs. Yeah.
I'm
Chemical in there, huh?
I'm not very dab educated, but I took my friend that is to the store up there in Ceres, and he just bagged on all of their wax, dude. He was like, "Oh, this is all shit, all of it." I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess around with any of the concentrates here.
Yeah.
Maybe on the coast. Maybe.
Maybe.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know, the
Take
Bay
your
Area.
chances,
There's
you know?
some dudes in the Bay Area that know how
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
it, you know.
So you're a flower guy?
Yeah, totally, man.
Yeah, that's what we do here. I don't know, Patrick was dabbing. Weren't you dabbing earlier?
Well, I was dabbing at the house, but no, I didn't bring anything with me today.
Yeah, that's medicinal for you though, ain't it?
Yeah.
No.
I do the CBD sauce, not the wax, but the sauce is like a derivative.
Yeah. Yeah, have you tried that?
No.
It's good, dude. It's like
And it really helps for like 15 minutes, and then, back to normal. But
That's cool.
yeah.
a lot of work for 15 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
Setting up a rig, getting it out, timing it. But whatever.
Cops fucking driving by.
Uh-huh.
That's weird. Yeah, going to their shop, the cops are right next to it.
Oh, right. Seriously?
They
Nah,
know
just-
our
Screen printing.
The evidence warehouse is right behind our shop.
Whereabouts? Where is it?
On Grogan.
Oh, Groden. Is the cops right?
Oh, out there.
There's an evidence, the warehouse where they keep all
Yeah, they're all like.
Damn, that is nuts.
But yeah, Chris is friends with one of them, so he's always coming in there and shit. One of his sons in hockey, isn't he?
He used to be. He's now with SPD.
Oh, Nick, right? Yeah.
But I know lots of local law enforcement. I used to work for the city, so I learned got to know quite a few.
Yeah, I just know him from living around here, being the manager and stuff, and yeah, it happens. We saw a cool accident the other night too.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It was cool for like us watching it, but it wasn't really cool for the lady who got hit.
Okay.
And then the guy like ran a stop sign, hit this lady.
She was hurt? No.
Driving by, he hit her pretty hard. He was
Jesus.
just going like 30 miles an hour and just
People
boom
fucking
right in.
drive.
She was going 30 miles an hour and
Dang.
he just hit her, and like she kind of freaked out because her foot was on the gas, right? And she got hit, and she thought she got hit right broadside, but she got kind of hit in the back tire, you know.
Yeah.
And she kept she floored it, and so she was like spinning sideways, and then took off down the street like the other way. Like she was going this way, and he hit her, and she ended
went
up
that
going.
way.
And then he just parked the car on the side of the road on the wrong side of the street. Got out of the car, put a jacket on, started gathering stuff up out of the car, and then walked off. And then I was like, "Hey, dude, where you going?" And then he came back for a second, and he grabbed some more stuff out of the car, and then he just took off running. And I was like, "Holy shit, that just happened!" Yeah, yeah, because I heard it, and then I came out, and I was like, "Oh shit," because that sounded like someone got hurt. And so I went out to make sure that they're all right, because there's accidents on that corner all the fucking time, dude.
Yeah, there's like some dangerous intersections in Merced that are just like
They're like not at all controlled. There's no.
Yeah, people
There's not
think that
even
it's a four-way
sign
stop,
one way.
and it's only, the cross traffic doesn't stop. So it's weird. There's a lot of moments to where
Well, there's
like
no stop
people are
signs at all.
stopped in the middle of the street because they think they have a stop sign and they don't, and everyone else is going, "Oh,
Come on, go.
go!" Yeah.
Yeah.
it's so
I see
crazy.
that a lot.
There was-
So I have a
And I always
camera
feel so
on that
precarious
intersection.
moving
Oh, you
this
do?
way
Yeah,
down.
so I got to
this
watch
down.
the
It's like-
accident.
I just so
I see
many
all kinds of stuff
blind spots.
'cause
Go ahead.
I'm a bus
No, but
driver,
Did I
so
tell you what happened? the
Oh,
other day?
yeah.
I drive for
Like,
Merced
down the
City School
street?
District.
No, what?
Yeah, all right.
There was
Yeah.
an accident.
I'm like, sit down.
And,
We gotta
I
go.
think they were going.
Like, oh no, it's Miss Candice.
Yeah. Miss Candice is me.
Across the street.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I was like, really? Because it was kind of funny because like the accident happened and the lady was like crazy. She was like, and then she started yelling at that guy. Like I don't know, it was like PJ or it was an acronym. You know, she's like, hey,
Like, get up in there.
hey, guy. And he comes outside and then she gets out of the car. There's like this. It was a car accident that happened right in front of this guy's like drug dealer's house. I mean, it's a
Oh,
suspected
shit.
drug dealer. You know, it's pretty obvious.
Alleged.
Alleged. So, she calls him because she'd gotten in an accident. Looks like she was going to his house, and then he comes out, and then she hands
Yeah.
him a dog. See you later, man.
Peace, H.
And then some
Keep
guy
it in my
gets
mind.
out of the car and then just walks with him, and they leave the accident. I
Wow.
was like, what the hell? And the cops come up like 5 minutes later, and I'm like, man, I don't know what's going on with that neighbor. But
Yeah, it only took a couple minutes for the cops to get here, and we're like, "Dude, he ran that way," and he was like, "Oh yeah, all right, whatever." I was like, "Okay," you know.
It wasn't really
Yeah, it
a
was-
bad accident either. They
Yeah.
just let him go, you know.
Yeah. You out of here too?
All right, man.
Yeah, probably around like 3 or 4.
You know, I
something like
can't
that.
wait. I can't wait till we start
All right, cool.
adding some new material. I got a bunch of
And you
You
called
got
me
some
earlier.
stuff. We
Oh,
should
yeah.
cool.
sit down and like
We gotta really
Alright.
sit down. We gotta really
Cool,
sit down and do it because
we can come up with a
great
topic
that
and go off of that. Yeah.
because it's great that we're getting more gigs, and at the same time we're all gonna be like working, so it's forcing us to like be more focused with our time. I
Yeah.
think that we need to get some new material
I
and
know.
stuff.
Yeah.
We've been playing the same songs for a while.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
we
it's
do
good
a
that
lot
we
of
got-
covers, but we got them down.
We
You
do
got some
we
good
actually
songs,
do a ton of covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool that we
Yeah.
have an actual album
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We got that
Yeah.
done like out of the way.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, if you guys
Just
know,
like
if
that
you guys have covers, you should be getting paid, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
We
do play
we've done,
some
we've
parties.
done a lot of,
yeah.
The Valley
Hopefully
Undercover.
we get in
The
the
Valley
bars
Undercover.
and stuff.
Yeah, we get flagged all the time now, though. Like so, yeah, I'm making money for the people. They flag our content, and then
Uh-huh.
they'll force us to put ads.
Oh, really?
oh.
And so I'm like, well, there was one. What is that fucking song that Neil sings? I love you, baby.
Frankie Valley.
Yeah, right. But that's not Frankie Valli. It's some Mexican dude. It was originally recorded in Spanish, and so he's the one that got the copyright claim on that song. Even though
Talking
Neil,
about Richie Valens? Is it Richie Valens song? Or what were you saying?
no, it was Richie. What?
No, it's Frankie Valley sang it.
Frankie
Frankie
Valley.
Valli. Yeah, but
I
it's a
love you,
Spanish
baby.
song, and so they put the copyright claim. It's from 1969.
Oh,
Yeah,
Hmm.
and it's whatever the Spanish, And I was like, what? Because when I saw the thing, I was like, what? And so I went and clicked on it, and then, went down the rabbit hole, and I was like, oh, that was that song. So, yeah, I'm cool. I guess I'm making that guy money because all he wanted to do was he didn't want the video blocked, He just
Yeah.
wanted us to allow ads to be put up. So, which I don't even know if they actually do because none of my videos are monetized. So, yeah, but a lot of people play covers, and then we we watch videos and stuff like that. So we get flagged a lot.
Well, it's time to have the Valley Undercover. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I was just, it's because it's the Valley Underground, and the bands come in and they do covers for us, and then we're gonna do a playlist called the Valley Undercover. But we get flagged so much, that's why I was trying to explain. Like, I don't
How
think
do
that's.
y'all get
Yeah.
flagged? Like, what is the?
They just have algorithms, dude. That like.
Oh, they
'cause
just
Yeah,
see-
so
dang.
it's
Yeah.
it's either that
You just get an
and
email
cover
or
shows
how
they
do
No, I don't even get emails. I just I upload the video and it just runs through their processing
Oh.
thing, and it either gets a
Right
flag
away.
or not.
Dang.
That makes sense because they actually they target cover shows, and like John, you remember Melissa was telling us you had to pay that like $3,000. It's like a $3,000 fine or a $3,000 fee that you got to pay for playing covers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
not
like
only will
a-
they like flag the content online, but they'll
Right.
they'll find the business
Right.
that's hosting it.
Yeah, we
That's
only
crazy.
got. I mean, Neil's whole set was all covers, and only one person put a copyright claim on it. So he did Fleetwood Mac, and what else did he do? Elvis.
Elvis, Aaron Neville,
Aaron Neville.
Fleetwood Mac, The Cure.
Right.
I think Neil actually has that license.
What's that?
I think Neil actually has that. Cover.
Yeah, as much as he
Yeah.
Okay.
does, you know what I mean? Yeah. So he's pretty good though. Do you know Neil Butner?
No.
know this? Yeah, you should check.
I mean, if I heard it, sometimes I know when I hear it, but I don't know the name of the artist.
Right.
Yeah, he's real big, like all over Modesto and the Central Valley area. But I mean, he goes all over. He plays like over 200 gigs a year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it 2? I think he said 300, dude.
Oh yeah, you're right. He did say 300.
He's
Is
from
it-
here?
Yeah, he's
No, from Modesto.
Oh, Modesto.
He plays
Yeah.
Speakeasy every week.
Oh.
Him and his band play on Friday every week.
Mhm.
I mean, he's got like 3 gigs a day sometimes.
Oh, that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like we actually slipped him in here between 2 of his gigs.
Right.
Oh.
No, he didn't have a gig
Oh,
afterwards.
that's right. We were the last gig.
Yeah. He played before and then came here,
He
and
was
then
warmed
like,
up.
oh, he was so cool because we were trying a different program, because we record on one program and then we do the video on another. So we're trying a new video program, and it just didn't work out. Everything froze.
Oh, man, that sucks.
So yeah, He played, I think, like 3 sets for us, and they were all different songs every single
cool.
time. Yeah, and then he does like loops and stuff like that.
Oh,
you know,
looping,
so,
yeah. That's cool.
and he's really good at it. So it was, it was a pretty enjoyable show.
Loopers are fun to practice with.
Yeah, I've never actually really got my hands on one.
Tool.
Yeah, I mean, some guys do it really, really, you know, it's like really interesting. You're like, oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I never got my hands on one. You know, that'd be fun though.
They're fun.
Right.
Yeah, they're fun.
You don't have one in your setup?
I don't.
No.
I just have an echo machine. That's like the only thing that,
Yeah.
that creates
Right.
any kind of a delay.
Right. Oh yeah, we're gonna watch our own show. Yep, there's Neil. Yeah, he was good. He's a really nice guy too. Whoa, not too loud. Sounds horrible if you turn it up too loud. Yeah, I mean, go a little farther, like with the Fleetwood Mac, because he's like,
Fleetwood Mac.
yeah.
With his voice, it probably sounds really good.
Oh, keep going. I've like watched. I had to mix this down, so I've watched it 100 times.
Cool.
Yeah, there's
That
the
sounds
end.
pretty.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So that whole beat he made with this
Oh,
guitar,
yeah.
you know, looped it all up.
You can create your like own backing track. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he's got a whole pedal board right there. Huh? I like that song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just for one person, like, he really was able to create something dynamic and interesting, you know? Yeah.
Musical depth.
Yeah, and he makes, you know, he was able to quit his regular job to do this. He does it professionally. So, yeah. Yep.
But
So-
these two, like by themselves or as individuals, they have like a lot of good like solo content. They can
Yeah.
hold down like shows themselves. Well, I don't think I've ever seen you guys use loopers, but I've seen you guys like hold down your own sets with solo material.
Didn't you play at Marco's show in the park?
Yeah, I don't play that one.
Oh yeah,
like on July 3rd, like
Psyched
4
on
years
Psych
ago,
Fest.
3 years ago.
Yeah, Psyched on Psych
I
Fest.
remember you playing that. Yeah.
They had a generator out there, a gas generator, so it was like,
Oh, yeah.
and then it ran out of gas
That put it together,
some part way through.
Marshall,
Oh,
They're
man.
like, oh,
Marshall
shows,
Trammell, yeah.
we're on a break.
Yeah,
So
we
Wanna go
need
get
more
some
gas.
Marshall and
Nobody
Marco.
thought, oh, shit.
Yeah, it was kind of
Yeah.
random, like over there by the path.
I do a drumming project
further
with
back
Marshall.
by the playground,
yeah.
past the playground, you know.
Yeah, I do a drumming project.
Is
So-
that the 7-year sleep guys?
I don't think
Marcel,
they were
Marco?
there.
No?
I don't think they were there.
One of the best I've seen.
There was some bands there.
Yeah, because they love doing that kind of stuff.
That was fun.
He gets down.
Yeah, he does really bizarre stuff. You know, I went to see him in Oakland about a month ago or something like that when he was down. Every time he comes to this side of the country,
Marshall?
You know, I usually
Oh
go
yeah, he's very
he's
try to link
talented.
up with him, you know, if he's not on tour or something.
It's like art
So-
watching him play. He's like,
I
does this
know,
thing
that's
with his
what we were-
hands.
Yeah, that's what we were just saying. It's crazy watching Marshall play. Like, he's one of the greatest drummers I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was like a.
Who does
free
he play
jazz.
for?
Marshall Trammell, he just does his own.
He
does all
travels
kinds of
tours
musical
on
projects.
himself.
Oh dang, I got to
Yeah,
get back
he's,
to him. He
part of a duo called Black Spirituals based out of Oakland.
Oh, okay.
And they just I cannot remember the name of the record label, but they just put out an album. I think it's their last album, like
Oh, okay.
officially their last album. Yeah.
Start working
Some
on that,
noise-
Patrick.
Noise music.
Get him in here.
Oh, I can get Marshall. Yeah.
Well,
Marshall's in Missouri right now.
oh,
Yeah.
Missouri. Woo.
But he
I've
would
been
come
trying
through.
to
He can
organize
come
a
through,
show,
though.
Get
Yeah,
him
he
over
would-
here.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Dude, I gotta get back to him. He,
You know,
I think he
trying to
sent
get him
me
over.
an email when you gave him my information.
I need to give him your number actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hit me up like.
That might
last
be it.
week or
Yeah, the
something like that.
improvised set. I think that's it.
I'm trying to get the Paul Murphy.
Yeah, that drum kit. He's got that vintage. That see how big it is.
Where's this at?
Is that in Oakland? I don't know. He plays a lot in Oakland.
That's a big ass place.
Switchboard Music Festival.
They did a lot of good shows, man. They went on like international tours and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done a lot of cool shit. They play with Sal Williams. They've done a lot of
I remember seeing his the little ensemble he had, the little drum ensemble he had in Oakland. Was that when we see him? And the dude with the gongs. Oh yeah. The dude with the gong orchestra.
You know who Mute Math is? Mute Math?
No.
No? Oh, dude, you should check him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, their drummer Darren King, he does some Guitar Center drum offs videos, or he did because they're a little older now.
Yeah.
But it's him and the guys, and they're doing some similar stuff, like, you know, the bass player playing on the keyboard most of the time. The guitar player is playing piano. No.
What is it? What is the name again?
Mute Math.
Mute Math.
Dude, they're super good. Yeah, technical. Yeah, there's one video where he's got this.
Where are they based out of?
I have no idea, dude. I just. Yeah, there's one where he's got a Roland, the old keyboard, and he's like doing handstands on the keyboard, and then like it's
cool.
yeah, he's just going off, and it's like whoa. But they're really technical and good, yeah. But they do some of this experimental stuff because he's doing the drum off, so the band is just doing like not normal band stuff. So those videos are really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mute Math.
Well, if you're gonna watch, check out the Darren King Guitar Center drum off. Although this is cool.
Oh, he's got a Fender Rhodes.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think. The Rhodes. Really?
We were debating on bringing it. It's fucking huge.
Yeah, I mean, once you get everything in here, it gets so crowded. It's like, dude, and it seems like such a big. But this is him just hanging out in his bedroom.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Same thing, looping. Check out the Darren King drum off, though, because that's what I was. He's got a Moog.
One of my friends, Corey, he just got a Moog Theremin.
Oh, that's a
He
trip.
plays it.
Yeah.
It's the first time I got to see one in real life.
That sounds cool.
Oh, he's singing
Yeah.
too. Damn.
Probably would have been better with Guitar Center drum off, but yeah, there it is. Part 1 of 4. So, you know, it's all about the drums. So he's actually one of my favorite drummers, Darren King.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a fucking headphones duct taped to his head. So yeah, they're just sort of making sounds for him. You can turn this up a little bit. There you go. I mean, that jacket was just a really good choice. Yeah.
He's having fun.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess their music kind of sounds like that too, you know, just with more. He's a tenor, I think, the vocalist. But they all, you know, they're all super talented on. They'll switch instruments around, and yeah, they're all. But yeah, they're just fucking around so he can. And that's the bass player playing that guitar.
Oh, cool.
Right.
He's got a bunch of pedals hooked up right there.
I've always liked that. You know what I mean? To like, because you're using the old keyboards and you don't always have all the effects, and so you have a separate effects pedal. You know? Yeah.
Dude, the song is in a hockey game.
This song is in a hockey game?
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Last year's.
Oh.
I knew it sounded familiar.
Oh, wow. I don't know. I guess they are playing their stuff. I haven't listened. They're pretty prolific, so I haven't, no way, listened to all their stuff. That's cool, though.
I like watching him play.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a badass drummer.
And he's got that beard, just makes him all likable, lovable. You got a good beard, just more
He's
likable.
chewing gum, too.
Was he?
Yeah,
Oh.
he was like smiling and threw his stick up.
Right. Yeah. Uh-oh, yawning. About time to wrap it up. It's kind of late, huh?
Yeah, it's already about.
All right. Well, thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Candice
man.
and the passengers, go look them up. You guys have
thanks
some
for
stuff
coming
out there.
It was awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
I appreciate it. I
Sounded
think it's
really
gonna.
good.
Yeah, I think it's gonna sound pretty good.
That was fun.
So, but I mean, you guys just recorded. Now have something to you have something to compare it to.
Yeah.
Oh man, such pressure.
Well, I think
It's all good.
Yeah.
most of the songs, well, no, a couple of them, most of them are on the CD. I was trying to think. Because
Yeah.
we kind of got burnt out doing the recording. You know, you get tired of playing the same songs.
Right.
So we're like, we need new material. We're trying to do some songs that weren't on there.
Right. Well, now that when you put out the album, though, now you have to do the tour to support it.
That's the hard part.
Yep.
I know.
That's the
we
hard
all have
part.
our working schedules.
All right. Cool. Well, we're out of here. All right. Close her down. Close her down. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll.